If you look around my office, you might realize I have kind of a love for dark, twisted cartoons. And a lot of that may be because I grew up with a lot of dark, twisted cartoons. Now, I'm not talking about the ones like Batman or ones that were meant for older kids. I'm talking about the ones that were meant for little kids, and they probably should have been made for little kids. And I loved the hell out of them. I enjoyed how much they scared me. I loved how every time you got through one, you felt a little tougher. So I'm doing a series reacting and reviewing them. We're gonna analyze how creative they are, how dark they are, and if the dark, twisted tone was warranted. So join me in taking a look at some dark tunes. By popular demand, let's look at what a lot of you are calling a dark Looney Tunes cartoon? Alright. Invasion of the Bunny Snatchers was released in 1992. A lot of you recommended it for this show because you saw it as very dark. I personally don't. I see it as very light, actually, but there's still a lot of very funny and clever things to talk about, so let's take a look. Very classic Looney Tunes opening. In fact, a lot of the music from this is taken directly from the original soundtrack that was composed by Carl Stalling. It should be pointed out too, this was originally supposed to be a theatrical release. Around this time, you did see Looney Tunes shorts like Box Office Bunny, or even before Gremlins 2, if you're wondering what was that weird Bugs and Daffy intro there. It's because they were trying to bring the Looney Tunes shorts back before you run a main feature, but most people were just saying, where's the main feature? So they didn't do too many of them. Obviously, the title and the plot is a satire of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which if you haven't seen, that's really dark. That's a classic film. They also made a couple remakes, one of them very, very good. If you like this, man, you're gonna love the original.
But I didn't know it at the time. As far as I was concerned, it was just another typical day.
Bugs' voice in this, actually as well as majority of the Looney Tunes in this, are voiced by a man named Jeff Bergman. Now, unlike Disney, where when you get the voice of Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck, that's it, that's the voice, Warner Brothers works a little differently. They'll have a couple actors play the Looney Tunes. Billy West, for example, played him in Space Jam. Currently in the new Looney Tunes cartoons, he's played by Eric Bauza. And 9 out of 10 times, they usually play at least 2 or 3 other Looney Tunes because, as you probably know, a lot of the original Looney Tunes were voiced by one man, Mel Blanc. So it stands to reason if you can do one Looney Tune really well, you can probably do a couple, as he did most of them. But what I was really shocked to find out is that this guy also did Bugs and Daffy in the new Looney Tunes show that came out several years now. And the reason I say I'm so surprised is if you listen to the delivery of Bugs, particularly in this, it sounds different from his delivery in that show. That show sounds a little bit more down to earth. I always kind of said it was like a Looney Tunes version of Seinfeld.
1,001 Grand Canyon jokes. That's about 1,000 more than I thought there were.
Where this one sounds very polished, very clean.
Morning already? Gosh, I must have overslept. He'll be here any minute.
I don't know if that's because he got better at doing the voices or because they got different directors to get more comedic fast timing in the other show. But if you listen to him back to back, you can definitely tell how he's evolved.
I'll get you if it's the last thing I do.
What's up, Doc?
I really dig the colors in this background. You usually don't see Bugs in this type of environment. It's usually a warmer background, warmer colors. But this one brings in a lot of cool blues and greens and purples. It looks pretty nice.
And I'm trying to catch him to put him in a wabbit stew.
Do tell, do tell. Does he have long ears, a fluffy tail?
What I can never tell about this cartoon is that a lot of the initial setup is done very fast, and I never knew if that's because they were on a time crunch or if everybody knows this routine, so they're like, okay, it's just going through the normal motions. Like he looks at his watch and it's like, okay, I've taken care of Elmer, now I gotta go take care of Daffy. Or I've taken care of Daffy, now I have to go take care of Yosemite Sam. So it's super, super fast compared to the original routines that are done, and I don't know if that's intentional or not, but it is a little funny because they don't even give them time to really react to what's being said, and I don't know, it gets a chuckle out of me.
Gee, what strange-looking carrots.
Now, for those who have not seen Invasion of the Body Snatchers, first of all, shame. Second, instead of carrots, they are actually giant pea pods. In fact, you see this satirized in Gremlins 2. You see Christopher Lee actually carrying one of them. It's an idea that's been satirized a lot, particularly in Looney Tunes type media. Again, Gremlins 2 even had the Looney Tunes in there.
I should have known right then that there was something screwy.
Yeah, even the Tiny Toons made that joke.
Is this O'Hare Airport?
Anything that has the word hair in it is gonna be a Bugs Bunny joke.
I didn't have time to think. I had a date out west with a fiery redhead.
I like this idea that this is kind of like his daily routine, like he has this slew of enemies that he has to thwart, because, of course, this happens over and over in every short, so it's kind of like his schedule. And it's a good setup for when we do see things go awry, like something's off. I feel like if you just started with the imposter aliens taking over already, it wouldn't have been as funny. You know, this shows you how it normally goes and why he's seeing Elmer and then Daffy and all these people that are usually his enemies. Come to think of it, Bugs doesn't have many friends in these shows, does he?
Tarnation! Some rabbit's got his footy prints all over my desert.
That might be my favorite, weakest reason for Yosemite Sam to go up against Bugs Bunny. He left tracks in his desert.
I dared you to step across this line.
I'm a steppin'.
This one, that one, that one, this one, that one, this one, that one, that one.
I really like how he turns into a dance number too. Like he's doing this so much, he's kind of tap dancing with it. That's a nice sadistic touch.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Do people still know what that is? Do they know that's Life Call, that old 80s commercial? Let me see if people know what that is. Oh yeah, okay, people know what that is.
Gee, what strange-looking wild cactus carrots.
I like him rolling his eyes, like even he knows he shouldn't be that dumb.
It's duck season, and I don't care if the whole world knows it!
Some of these layouts are almost taken shot for shot, like this one of the hunter shooting is almost taken directly from the episode where he's in the winter, and obviously it's a different season, but it's very clearly an homage to the original.
I'm telling you, these long hours are murder.
Okay, so far the cartoon is cute. We're about halfway through, and it's got a couple chuckles, but nothing like laugh out loud, I would say. But this is where it gets really clever and really creative, in my opinion.
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits.
Of course, in the original invasion of the Body Snatchers, the people are replaced by these pods that have another version of them, but something's a little off. And in this case, instead of making the personality off, although that's certainly part of it too, the animation is off. And some have said this is a commentary on the budgets that Warner Brothers had at the time, though I didn't see any direct proof of that. I couldn't find anyone saying anything like that, but that was always kind of the theory. So the creativity and how bad the animation is just so smart, because I feel like if you watch a lot of animation or you've seen how they cut corners, you'll pick up on some of these. For example, in this, it's a little closer, and sometimes we have a cartoon character as far away, they'll do like dot eyes, and when they get closer, they'll give them more detailed eyes. Well, in this version, detailed eyes is not that much more detail, but the shot is a little closer, so it's almost like, oh, see, we're just like the original.
Hello, I want to spread sunshine.
Although I've never seen anything as bad as that. Like, that's original.
No, varmint! I don't want to massacre you.
What I really enjoy is it would have been so easy just to do the same kind of bad animation throughout this whole thing. Like, for a second, it looks like they're gonna do. Like, Yosemite Sam looks a lot like Elmer, although they give him 3 fingers. I think that's very funny. But as it goes on, they really think outside the box of just how bad they want to make it.
Bugsy, old pal, I want you to know that
These are 2 great common animation mistakes that you'll see. What's coming to mind is Ninja Turtles, the old Ninja Turtles cartoon. One is part of the characters not filled in with color, although this one they're taking it a step further. Instead of having it like the bill isn't painted or is painted the wrong color, his eye isn't filled in. That's not usually a mistake you see because you just do a dot for the eye, but in this one they're so bad they forget it. And then for, I think, 1 or 2 frames, his body is completely missing. The layers of the beak also don't add up. It's a little fun because it shows you a little bit how animation works, because sometimes you would do that. You have the character be totally still and only have the mouth move, and you'd have another layer over it, so it would cover, you know, you don't want to draw everything under the mouth. You don't want to draw all the teeth and gums and stuff, so the rest of the character would cover one of the layers, and they'd usually be cover up, but this one it's a little lower, so it just keeps throwing everything off.
I've enjoyed our little tete-a-tetes over the years, but now it's all...
Sadly, there was a show that did this, and it's often said to be the worst animation ever, and it was called Clutch Cargo. You probably saw a snippet of it in Pulp Fiction, where there's these drawings of still cartoons, and then they just put the actors' mouths in the cartoon, and they try to put a different color, whatever their skin color is, over it. But as if that wasn't funny enough, the lip movements don't match what he's saying. So it's like they're going out of their way to make sure this doesn't make sense. Because it actually takes more effort to have the lips not match what they're saying.
You win. It is duck season. I admit it. Fellas?
Lips not moving when they talk, that's a common animation mistake. But now I love this. For whatever reason, there's a ton of detail put into the mouth movements in this shot. He suddenly has a Ren and Stimpy mouth, like it's very detailed and articulate the way it moves. It's actually kind of creepy. Maybe this is why people thought it was a dark cartoon.
My delicate inner sense of danger tells me that there's something faintly foreboding in the atmosphere.
Now this must have been tricky to direct, because how do you say draw it bad but give it dimension? So you have these really thick lines and these arms and legs aren't drawn very well, but they have to still look flat, like they come out of this thing, and that they're almost blown air into them, like, you know, life is suddenly being blown into them like a balloon.
A not so incredible simulation.
There's so many reasons I find that funny. First of all, how would there be a fire? Second, if there was, it's a hole. What would he need to break with an axe?
What's up, Doc? You know something, folks? This is the scariest part of the picture.
I tend to agree. This isn't that dark, but I still like it. I still like it.
Made on the planet Nudnik.
Now, Nudnik is a Yiddish term that means boring, pestering, irritated, and pretty much like what they've replaced him with.
I'm hunting wabbits.
You could argue that's even kind of a satire of their own style, when like the Roadrunner or Coyote would run and you see the circle of their feet going like that. Like that's almost like their bad version of how they think it works. Yeah, it's an old joke. And that's a reasonably older joke. The Tiny Toons did do that one as well. I think they did a little funnier, but they both involve E.T. getting hurt, and for some reason that makes me laugh. Be good. Don't tell me what to do.
Pardon me.
Now that's apparently Thurl Razencroft, who you may know from Tony the Tiger and The Grinch. I'm not sure if that's like an old recording or if they just used him. I'm pretty sure he was alive around then. It's just a very bizarre cameo. It doesn't even really sound like him, so everything about that is weird.
I never realized how lucky I was that so many people wanted to kill me.
That might be my favorite line in the whole thing.
Yeah, that's all, folks.
All right, I think that's supposed to be Terry Gilliam, the sort of cutout animations that he would do for Monty Python. I can't think of what else that would be in reference to. That's the first thing that pops in my head. So there you go, Invasion of the Bunny Snatchers, highly requested. Like I said, I don't see it as particularly dark. Honestly, I don't see it as super funny until you get to the poorly animated characters and just how creative they get. I like how they look for different styles of bad animation. There's something even funny that there is kind of a style of not drawing something very well. Or even in Terry Gilliam's case, I mean, that actually is great animation, but it is cheap. It's very cheap animation. And it is an homage to something that is dark, and I guess some people can look at the way they're animated and they look a little weird, like maybe they can be creeped out by it, but yeah, I just never found it that dark. Maybe if they had like the actual aliens themselves be scary, or I'm kind of wondering why they didn't do Marvin the Martian, like why he wasn't the bad guy behind everything, and they just kind of stopped. But again, it could be a budget reason. It's a cute cartoon. I just don't think it's that dark. But like I said, the creativity behind the bad animation really gets a good laugh out of me. So let me know in the comments, did you find this like really dark growing up? Did you find it scary or intimidating at all? If so, let me know, because I'd love to know why. Was it the creepy drawings, or was it just something about characters being taken over by aliens and you just hadn't seen Invasion of the Body Snatchers yet? So let me know below. Hey everyone, I got a couple of these lined up. If there's any particular cartoon you want me to look at as being very dark or twisted, leave it in the comments below. Again, I'm not really looking for movie scenes or cartoons meant for teenagers or older. I'm talking about ones meant for little kids, but still scare the shit out of you. Whether it's an old cartoon or a new cartoon, let me know what you want me to look at.